A new study finds there are 500,000 more house sellers than buyers, which is a new record since the wake of the 2008 housing crisis. Meanwhile, house buyer sentiment has plunged to the worst since 1980. Will house prices collapse, collapsing Americans' retirements along with it? The study comes from Boker Redfin. As always, the main culprit is the Federal Reserve, which yanked interest rates to near zero during COVID to bribe the voters into lockdowns. That sent house prices soaring 40% in just 2 years as buyers borrowed cheap. Cheap money makes house prices go up. At one point, the average mortgage was 2.7%, which was lower than inflation, as in you were being paid to borrow, and the more expensive the house, the more you were being paid to borrow. Of course, free money causes inflation, so after some sweet nothings about transitory inflation, the Fed flipped and yanked rates up at the fastest pace since the 1970s. That trimmed just 5% off home prices, but it almost tripled mortgage rates to over 7%. So now you have nosebleed prices and triple the mortgage. This 1-2 punch sent the median new mortgage from roughly $1,000 a month pre-COVID to $2,700 a month now. As you expect, this wiped out buyers who either can't afford it or can't qualify. You now need over $100,000 in income to qualify for a mortgage. So buyers dropped from 2 million pre-pandemic to just 1.4 million today. But sellers also collapsed because they were locked in, as in they couldn't afford to trade their 3% mortgage for 7%. They'd be facing doubled mortgage. This gave us a frozen market with both buyers and sellers on strike for years now. But that is now changing according to Redfin. Buyers are still on strike, but sellers are flooding in at the highest pace since COVID, either because they've given up hope for a cheap mortgage and they are eating the loss, or because work from home is getting wiped out, going from 1 in 3 workers in 2020 to just 1 in 7 today, and falling fast. Now, there is some hope for home prices, of course, if the Fed cuts rates, but yield curves are actually steepening, meaning higher rates on mortgages. Meanwhile, rate cut odds on Kalshi are running just 0.5 point this year, which barely makes a dent in a 7% mortgage lock-in. So what's next, brought to you by Unchained.com. Going by last time this happened in 2014 and 15, house prices could take a 5 to 10% hit, which comes to between $20,000 and $40,000 for the median homeowner. Now, if that is paired with a recession, it could double. This matters because the majority of Americans' retirement savings is now in their house, the equity, meaning that $40,000 or $60,000 comes directly out of retirement. Now, given Americans are already undersaving for retirement, that would put millions even further behind the treadmill. Toss in a possible recession, Kalshi odds are currently running 35%, and the treadmill goes to 11, millions will fall off. A new episode of the podcast just dropped, rounding up all the videos from last week. Search Peter St. Onge wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.